When I was in Vietnam, my head hurt. My tongue was dry. There was a pebble in my boot. It hurt to walk. The waistband of my underpants shaved my skin. There was an eyelash in my eye. It would not come out. My eyes watered. When I was in Vietnam, it rained on my puppy. When I was in Vietnam, cigarettes got wet. My tongue would not light. I would feel lightning hitting itself in my boot. Jesus spoke to me in a run-on sentence. The waistband of my underpants shaved my skin. There was an eyelash in my eye. When I was in Vietnam, the rain continued. The military would not supply tissue. I bought my own. When I was in Vietnam, they got wet on my pup. The rain. My cigarettes got wet. My matches would not light. When I was in Vietnam, my head hurt. Lightning hitting itself. My tongue was dry. Jesus spoke to me in a run-on sentence. I could not sleep. I could not dream. The waistband of my underpants shaved my skin. When I was in Vietnam, the rain continued. The military would not supply tissue. I bought my own. My eyes, but they got wet. When I was in Vietnam, it rained on my pup tent. My cigarettes got wet. My matches would not light. I recall lightning striking itself. Jesus spoke to me in a long run-on sentence. I could not sleep. I could not dream. When I was in Vietnam, the military would not supply. When I was in Vietnam, my head continued. My tissues got dry. There was a pebble in my boot and unused. It hurt to walk. The waistband of my when I was in Vietnam, my skin. My head hurt. There was an eyelash in my eye. My tongue was dry. That would not come out. There was a pebble in my boot. It hurt to walk. My eyes watered. The waistband of my underpants chafed my skin. When I was in Vietnam, it rained on my pup tent. There was an eyelash in my eye that I could not get out. My matches would not light. My eyes watered. I recall lightning striking itself. When I was in Vietnam, it rained on my pup tent. My cigarettes got wet. My matches would not strike. Jesus spoke to me. When I was in Vietnam, the military could not sleep, would not supply tissue. When I was in Vietnam, the rain continued. The military would not supply tissue. I bought my own. When rain got it wet, got tissue stuck together. When I was in Vietnam. When I was in Vietnam, I could not sleep until one rainy night in my pup tent, I had a wet dream. I could not clean myself because my tissues were stuck together. When I was in Vietnam, I could not sleep until one rainy night in my pup tent, I had a wet dream. I could not clean myself because my tissues were wet and stuck together. There was an eyelash in my eye that I could not get out. My eyes watered, my eyes blinked. When I was in Vietnam, it rained on my pup tent. My cigarettes got wet. My matches would not strike. Jesus spoke to me. When I was in Vietnam, I could not sleep. Until one rainy night in my pup tent, I had a wet Vietnam. I could not clean myself. My tissues were wet and had become stuck together. The rain got it wet. Tissues stuck together. When I was in Vietnam, I could not sleep. Until one rainy night in my pup tent, I had a wet dream. I could not clean myself because my tissues were wet from the rain and had become stuck together. I was in Vietnam, I drank weasel shit coffee. The weasels would eat the beans and the coffee roasters would collect them out of the weasel. When I was in Vietnam, I roast them. It tasted good. Rainy night. One morning, I was no longer in Vietnam or my wet myself because I rolled a jumbo joint and walked to the diner. The waitress took my order: pancakes, scrapple, a large ball of melting margarine, imitation maple syrup. "Hey honey," I said, "add a cup of black coffee to that, no sugar." By the cash register was a taped sign. It had a picture of a young boy. It said, "Have you seen me?" Next to this was a deep when I was in Vietnam, I could not sleep until one rainy night coffee. In my pup tasted like shit. I had a wet dream. I could not clean myself because my tissues were stuck together. When I was in Vietnam, I drank weasel shit coffee. The weasels would eat the beans and the coffee roasters would collect them out of their dung and roast them. It tasted good. One morning, I was no longer in Vietnam or my wet pop tent. I rolled a jumbo joint and walked down to the local diner. The waitress took my order: pancakes, scrapple, a large melting ball of margarine, imitation maple syrup. I said, "Hey honey, add a cup of coffee to that, black, no sugar." Pasted to the cash register was a picture of a young boy. Underneath, it said, "Have you seen me?" Next to the picture was a decal of the American flag.
When I was in Vietnam, I could
I took
not
a sip of
sleep
coffee
until one rainy night.
Shit.
In my